Hello, Erin Dinahan again for Module 15. The second web-based technology that I'm going to walk you through is Socrative. Okay, Socrative is an online website that allows you to create surveys or quizzes for student use. The standards that I will be covering are ISTE for teachers, number 1C, and for teachers 2D. Okay, promote student reflection using collaborative tools to reveal and clarify students' conceptual understanding and thinking, planning, and creative processes. And then provide students with multiple and varied formative and summative assessments aligned with content and technology standards, and then using that resulting data to inform learning and teaching. Then there's an ISTE standard for students, 1C. Students will use technology to seek feedback that informs and improves their practice and to demonstrate their learning in a variety of ways. Okay, so if we want to reach Socrative, okay, it's just socrative.com, okay, and then there's a student login and a teacher login. I'm going to walk you through the student login really quickly. For the most part, this demonstration will show you what you can do as a teacher, but I just wanted to kind of show you what students see when they log in. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on that. They will get to this screen where they enter a room name that they can join. This will be given to you as a teacher once you create a quiz or an activity for them to take. Okay, so I'm going to go over and do the teacher login now, where you can sign in with an email, or I'm just going to click on sign in with Google, which is the same thing, which will work for most of you. And you can just create an account that way if you have not already. So we've got some basic options when we get to the main screen. This was the room code that I was talking about before, so that's what students would enter. Okay, we've got the launch tab. This is what you can go ahead and assign to students. So if we want to assign a quiz or launch it, we would hit on that, and then students would have access to the quiz that you're doing. There's a space race, which allows students to compete against each other or work as teams for things, and there's an exit ticket. Okay, so I'm going to spend some time talking about each of these. First, we're going to go to just a regular quiz. And notice I have a quiz in here that I'm going to demonstrate with you. Okay, it's graphing square root functions. Okay, and then I would just click that in order to launch the quiz. As easy as that. Now, there's some different deliveries that you can change here. There's an instant feedback that's going to let students see the problems they get right. I'll click on this I button for information. It just means students are going to answer one question at a time, and then they'll have to answer that before moving on, and they'll know whether they got it wrong or right then. Open navigation, they can answer them in whatever order they want. They don't have to submit, and they can go back and change their answers. I really like this option because some students really do like to skip a problem and then come back to it, and then the answer will come to them. And then there's a teacher paste. If you want to control the flow of questions, you can send them one at a time and monitors for response, things like that. So here, I always require that they have a name here. Got to click on the open navigation. Require a name. That means they have to come up with a username in order to join. I always shuffle the questions and the answers. This is going to prevent looking off of another computer for answer. Feedback, this is if you want to, when you're making a quiz, you can create feedback to incorrect answers. So you can explain why a tricky question was wrong or something like that. I don't generally use it too much. And then show final score if you want to. And then you just hit start, and all of your class names will come in here as they log in. Okay, I'm going to show you the reports that come out from this. That's one of my favorite things about Socrative, is the data that comes from it. Okay, so I'm going to go look at my graph square root functions, and there's get reports or view chart. If we hit on the view chart, it's just going to show the results of that particular quiz. Okay, whereas, let me do one that I actually gave students here. This one. So you'll get to see all of their different scores once they load. And notice I've chosen to star out the names here. You can actually adjust that as you go through. And then also see exactly question by question who missed what and what they answered instead. I like looking at the reports for the different capabilities they have. If we were to go choose on this and get reports, okay, we can do the whole class, individual students, and question specific. Okay, these are going to open in 3 separate documents. For the most part, the whole class is going to look like that view chart, but clicking on this allows you to download it and you can save it to your computer, your Google Drive, or send it in an email. I have already done this. Okay, and so I did a pre-test and a post-test, and that's what this function is very helpful for. And you can see here's my pre-test. Okay, and the average score was a 29.5%, average number of questions correctly, and then question by question you can see what they performed on. Now this is very useful, so it tells you what they may already know and what you need to stress on when you're teaching. This was a 30-minute lesson. Okay, if you can actually look at the times that it was given here, the time stamp from the equation. This was at 8:13 a.m. and they took the post-test at 8:42, 30 minutes later. So this is no studying involved, and here's the post-test right after. Jumped up to a 64%, and then again you can look question by question to see, you know, what concepts they didn't quite master. I gave this to a college class as a short lesson, not a math class, so I would expect in an actual math setting that my pre and post test would be much higher jump. But a very useful function of Socrative. Okay, let's go back up to the main screen here. Other things we can launch: Space Race. This is going to look a little bit different because it allows groups here. So they'll say a number of teams, so however many teams you want, and then you can auto assign those teams, so it'll pick them for you, or you can have student choice and they can meet up and they'll just have to type them in individually. But very similar. I'm going to go ahead and just start this so you can see kind of what's going on. I'll just have 4 different teams and then start it. And then the progress of our little rockets here will go along as they complete this test. Last thing that I want to show you on Socrative is the exit ticket. This is something that's very useful in terms of teaching any class. There are some, I'll have to create one here. For the exit ticket, it's basically a survey of what students learned in a given class. So I have this exit ticket quiz up, and if you just click on number 1, this is the basic exit quiz that is already created for you. I didn't actually make this, but it's just a survey. The first question is, how well did you understand today's material? Totally got it, pretty well, not very well, not at all. And so asking students this question gives you kind of an idea of how well they grasp the material, or at least what they sense about it, other than the data that we've gotten from actually taking the quiz. And then the next question is, what did you learn? Okay, and that's just a short answer that they type in. And then the third one, standard, is just please answer the teacher's question. So this could be an open question, verbal, or written up on the board, something like that, just to kind of keep them engaged towards the end of the day. So that is Socrative, basically just very, very useful in giving data and presenting quizzes, surveys, things like that.